Hello guys, thank you very much for coming. My name is Edward and I work for Consumers Energy. We're going to talk about the topics that I have. What's the energy efficient home? Some tips for energy savings you can have, and then how do you know if your house energy efficient? So when we talk about, first of all, when you talk about energy efficient homes, we have to consider like two major parts. It's first one, it's the building envelope, which covers the insulation, your windows, and the second part is the equipment that you use in your house. It would be heating, cooling, hot water, stuff like that. So the building envelope, when we talk about the building envelope, so you have a house, like if it's a detached house, you have like 4 outside walls. So the main thing to consider when you do actually renovation or building a new house, it's the insulation in the attic, so the attic insulation. Why is that important? Because well, first of all, when every house being built here, they do heat loss and heat gain calculation. That's meaning like how much heat your house is losing during the winter time and how much heat you're getting during the summertime. Most, like in the winter time, the heat, we know the heat rises, right? So, and then you're losing your heat through the attic because the heat rises. So if you have a thermal barrier, like today the standard R value for the attic insulation is R60. It's about it's 24, 26 inches of blown-in insulation. So what happens when the heat rises and then you have a good thermal barrier, which is like a R60 value. So you retain that heat inside the house. So it's not escaping. The same thing in the summertime. A lot of heat gain comes from the roof, like the sun hitting your roof. And then if you don't have that the thermal barrier, like which is attic insulation, you want to, like, your second floor is going to be very hot, and then in the wintertime it's going to be very cold. So that's number one. If you're moving to a new house, it's already like these are the new codes today. But if you doing some renovations or doing like adding some insulation, so considers R6, you're also going to get rebates from Ontario, like it's provincial and federal programs that are available today. And your attic insulation is going to be almost free for you. This is whatever you're going to pay for that insulation. It's going to be you'll get the rebates. Walls insulation. Walls insulations, the minimum it's R20 value. When you consider, if you, I don't know if you have a finished basement or not, if you're considering to finish it, so consider to do it R20 value. So it's usually 6-inch wide insulation, so you'd have to go either 2x6 studs, or you can still use 2x4 studs. You just have to give a little bit more space because you cannot squeeze it. Otherwise, you're going to lose the R value. These are the more for the insulation. These are the things you have to consider. The second thing on the building envelope is the windows. When you're upgrading your windows, there's like we're not dealing with windows, but when you're going to deal with windows, then you have to consider that at least double pane window with some argon gas inside. That this argon gas is going to act as a again like a thermal break between outdoor and indoor. So your heat or cool is not going to escape through the house. You're going to retain a lot of energy inside the house. When you do all these things, like you'd have to probably introduce some mechanical air circulation in the house. So it's usually HRVs or ERVs. But these things, it's not going to save you on energy, but it's just mechanically good. You're going to circulate your air inside the house. Now the second thing, it's equipment, as I mentioned, that you use. It's furnaces, the air conditioners, the hot water tanks. when you consider about the furnaces that we install today, the minimum standard you can go is 95%. There's no less than 95%. You can install that. Like they don't have it as of, I believe, 2009. The other thing to consider when you're installing the furnace is to upgrade it with the variable speed blower. Because if you notice your bills, electrical, the hydro bills, they are usually high in the summertime and the winter time. Now the winter time, it's not because you're using lights earlier, but it's because your furnace is still running. The fan of the furnace is it's running. It takes electricity. So the motors that you have to consider when you upgrading your furnace, and then we're going to talk to a contractor. It's called the variable speed ECM blowers. So it's called electronically commutated motors. They actually save you about $300 a year on electricity. It's not what I'm saying. It's from the government. They used to give $250 rebates back, I believe, 3-4 years ago. They stopped this, but it's still ECM motors. They're still very efficient. Okay. The air conditioning, you have to consider when you're upgrading your air conditioning. There's, it's called SEER rating, seasonal energy efficiency ratio. The higher the number, the more efficient your air conditioning. The minimum standard today is 13 SEER. If you're upgrading your air conditioning, you probably have like the old one, I don't know, 10 or 8 SEERs, and then you already, the new minimum standard is 13 SEER. You can go 14 SEERs or 15 or 16 SEER. They go all the way up to 20. But the higher the SEER number you get, the cost of that equipment is going to go up. And then just to give you an idea, the difference between each SEER in energy savings, it's going to be $11 per season. So it's not necessarily, minimum is 13 SEER, as I said, but if you go 14 SEERs, you'll probably spend like about $400 to $600 more for the equipment, but it will take you almost like 25, 30 years to break even. So you can consider that. But me personally, I don't recommend to go 14 or 16 SEERs because first of all, the physical dimensions of the unit outside is bigger, and the savings that you're going to get takes you like 25, 30 years to break even. They used to have $400 rebates for that. That time it was actually, well, breaking even. A lot of people were considering to put 16 SEER air conditioning. When we were talking earlier about the attic insulation, right? So again, your air conditioning, if you live in the older houses, you have to make sure that in order to keep that AC more energy efficient, you have to make sure that your return airs upstairs, like you have return grills on the walls and then the supplies on the floor. Older houses, they don't have, some of them they do, some of them, most of them, like older houses, they don't have return air. Because the way the air conditioning works, a lot of people think it's cooling the house. It's actually, it's not cooling the house. The job of the air conditioning is to remove heat from the house. And by removing the heat, house becomes cooler. The way it removes the heat is from the return airs. So a lot of houses, they're complaining that you have, the second floor is hot in the summertime. It's just you have to make sure that your return airs, first of all, you actually have them, and then if you do have them, to check if they actually sucking the air. It's very easy to check. Like if you have them, you can just put a piece of like a toilet tissue and then see if it sucks. If it's holding that paper, then it sucks. If it's not, then you have to somehow to figure out what's the problem.
Hi everyone, how are you? I just want to start off saying thank you for taking some time out and coming in on your Saturday. So I'm going to be speaking about a couple simply smart ideas to get you into the smart home industry very simply, and also for energy savings and efficiency. So I'm going to touch on both of those. The first one I wanted to touch on was the thermostat. How many people have a house where you have a thermostat that controls the heat now? Okay, perfect. Pretty much everyone. Excellent. So one of the great things about the Nest thermostats and Ecobee and other smart home thermostats is that you are going to be saving energy. So some of the costs that you put up front into purchasing it are going to be coming back into your pocket as time goes on. For example, you can probably expect to save between 12 and 15% per month on your energy bills. And it does this because as you leave for work, it lowers the temperature. As you're coming back, it's gonna sense that you're coming back towards your home, and it's gonna increase the temperature so you come home to the comfortable level that you left it at. So that's one of the great things. Also, when you go on vacation, if let's say you go down to Hawaii or somewhere right now and your furnace stops working, one of the great things is you'll get an alert on your phone that your furnace isn't working, so you can call a friend, family member. They'd be able to come and address the issue before maybe your house went below 0 degrees, you had other issues or anything like that. Also, one of the great things is room temperature sensors. So with the smart thermostats, you can have room temperature sensors in each of the rooms. So let's say you like to sleep in a little bit colder of a room or a little bit hotter of a room. So you can switch your temperature sensing from the thermostat itself to the room. So that way, if you want to sleep in 71 degrees, but the house is set at 73 degrees, it's going to run off your room temperature sensor. And it's going to have you nice and comfortable while you're sleeping. Some of the other products that we have are floodlights, doorbells, flood sensors, and carbon monoxide, CO detectors. So there's a whole array of smart home products, and all of them have their individual benefits. When we think of something even like a flood sensor, you know, it's a smaller smart home product, it's not big, it's not in your face, it might not be the best looking, but where's the most common place for an insurance claim in a house? You know, it's from a basement flood, water tank leaks, furnace drain backs up and condensates leaking out, different plumbing leaks, right? Well, with the flood sensor, you can put it in that room and then you don't have to go in there, you'll be notified, you can get ahead of it, so that way it's not causing as much damage as it could potentially if you didn't notice for a day or two. So that's one of the great things even about a smaller product. And we have over 10 years experience installing like Nest, Ring, Ecobee, various different products. They're all great products. But one thing that we've done recently is we've taken all our learnings from all those products, all the good, all the bad, and we've created our own products. So we're a Canadian-owned company. We're local here in the GTA, and we do service all the way from Windsor to Ottawa. But we have our own app, own products, and everything as well. We have a wide array of products. So please feel free to call us anytime. Come by our booth. We can have a Smart Home Pro come out, do a consultation, see what type of products might suit you best, and try to help as much on that end as possible. Does anybody have any questions about Smart Home?
Is there any rebates on the thermostats?
On the thermostats, there is a rebate. Yes, so Enbridge has a rebate on the thermostats. So some of that upfront cost you get back immediately, right away. And then your savings are going to pay it off. Yes?
Can you speak to how you adjust the temperature in a separate room running off the main first?
Right. So basically, it's not a dampered system. So if you increase the temperature for that room, let's say the whole house is 73 degrees, right? And that room is 71 degrees, but you want to sleep in 73 degrees. So you set it to read off that sensor. It says, okay, I'm 71 degrees here. I'm not going to read off my 73 degree thermostat where it's currently reading right now. So it's going to increase the temperature 2 degrees. But it's not going to be only in that room. It will increase 2 degrees around the whole house as well. Yeah. Okay, so for energy efficiency, there's one product that I wanted to touch on, and I'm such a huge believer in it. One, it saves you money. It gives you cleaner water, and it helps the environment. 3 benefits, and they're all great. And that is a tankless unit. How many people here have water heaters? Yep. And how many people rent their water heater? Okay. So one of the things is, when we're using that water heater, it's heating the water 24/7, 365 days a year. It's heating the water when you're using the water. It's heating the water when you're not using it, when you're asleep, when you're at work, if you're on vacation. It's constantly maintaining one set temperature in that tank. So if we think, how often do you have your hot tap on during the day? You don't really have it on that frequently for the most part on average, right? So why are you paying to heat hot water when you're not using it? And that's one of the things. We look in July, we had the increase in natural gas, 23%. And we have another increase coming now. So it's making more and more sense now, more than ever, to get into a tankless. One of the other great things is tanklesses have been around for more and more time. And what that means is the cost of entry has come down considerably. So we look at a typical rental water heater from Enercare, Reliance, many other companies, probably paying in the range of $30 to $40 a month for a PowerVent 50. We can get into a tankless for $35.99 a month. And a good way to see about how much your savings would be is take your July gas bill. If you're not using a gas barbecue, if you're not using the gas range, and you're just using basically the water heater, take your July gas bill, knock 40% off, that's gonna be your monthly savings. Typically, you're between $70 to $90. Let's take the middle number, 80, right? So $80 you're using to heat your hot water during any month. In the summer, in the winter, whenever, it doesn't really matter, right? And then also on top of that, so that's $40, very conservative number, right? Minus what you're paying for your water heater rental currently. So let's say you're paying $30 on the low end. So right away, your savings are gonna be $70. So you can either purchase a tankless or you can rent a tankless starting at $35.99 a month. It makes sense. Not only are you getting cleaner water, because the water's not stored inside a tank that rusts, corrodes, and all that stuff goes to your dishwasher, your washing machine, your nice faucets, those cartridges, it gets in there and plugs it up over time, right? When you're bathing, all that sediment and whatnot works through into the bathtub as well, so you're bathing in it. Now you're not heating that, there's no corrosion, you get nice, clean, hot water, which is one of the great benefits from a health side. And then each tank that is switched over to a tankless now is the equivalent of planting 33 trees in the reduction of CO2, 33 cypress trees. So there's a huge benefit on that front as well from an ecological and just overall green benefit side. So you have money savings, cleaner water, and you're helping the environment.
What is the usual lifespan?
And that's one of the great things about the tankless. Not only is it smaller, you're freeing up space, but we look at a tank. Your lifespan's probably in the range of 10 to 15 years. Right? Now, if we go in with a tankless, because you're not storing hot water inside it all the time, it doesn't corrode as quickly as a tank corrodes, and each part can be changed independently. So when that tank goes, when you have that tank body leak, you can't replace the whole tank body, right? You're getting a brand new tank, and that's the way it reduces the landfill waste as well. But with the tankless, each part can be independently removed and replaced. So I would say a fair estimate of what all the manufacturers say is 20 to 25 years. Yes?
How long do you have to get service?
So with the tankless, and this is one of the reasons that I really believe in the rental, right? We think about our water heater, somebody might come, flush it every now and then. With the tankless, it is important to be flushed, right? Because there's a heat exchanger in there, and it's not a big tank body, so there are smaller orifices. Sediment and things that come through the plumbing can get in there, so it's good to be flushed every single year. And of course, if you rent, that's fully covered.
How much does it cost to flush it?
To flush it, you'd probably be about like an hour of labor plus material. There's a solution that you flush through back and forth. Yeah. So I would guess between $100 to $200, depending on the company or organization. Hopefully you'd call us.
I've heard tankless solution don't produce enough hot water on an ongoing basis. So if you have 2 or 3 people that need to take a shower, then you just don't get enough water out. Is that still the case?
So that is where like getting the proper tankless for your individual needs matters. Because if you go in and let's say you get the lowest unit, how a tankless works is, as water flows through it, it restricts that flow to heat it up to a certain temperature. So when you have a high demand, let's say 2 showers at the same time, there's a lot of gallons per minute that are flowing through that at that time. If you have a tankless that is undersized, it's gonna restrict too much water, and that's when you're gonna come into those issues. But they have tankless units that can do 4 plexes and everything like that, and they're still very reasonably priced and can flow over 12 gallons per minute. So the big thing with that one is just making sure it's properly sized for what you need. Yes, you can adjust the temperature. And one of the great things is you can adjust the temperature lower, unlike a tank. A tank you want to keep at a certain temperature to keep things like bacteria, legionnaires, etc., out of that water because it's just sitting dormant in that tank when you're not using it. You don't want it to build up, right? With the tankless, because you're not storing hot water, you don't have to worry about that. So you can actually set it lower, which means that you have to mix less cold water in to get your desired temperature that you'd normally shower or bathe in. So you're not only saving on the gas, but you're also saving on your water usage.
Is there a charge to retrofit a tankless into the tank environment? Like, do you need that chimney with the exhaust and hot water?
Right, so from a power vent water heater to a tankless, I mean, if you're purchasing it, there would be a charge for installation for sure to retrofit that. On a rental, there's no charge. It's all included. So sometimes that can include, like you said, the venting. We want to run a second pipe with the tankless for intake air, just because it is higher BTU, so that it can supply endless hot water once it's properly sized for what you're looking for. So we want to bring all that air from outside, nice cold, dense air compared to what's inside, and that helps improve the efficiency as well. So we're just adding one more white pipe. Yes?
Is there rebates on tankless?
There are rebates on tanklesses. There's an absolutely excellent rebate right now if you are in Union Gas territory. Union Gas territory, if you basically draw a line Hamilton, Oakville, and you go west, it's well over $1,000, a $1,600 rebate right now. So there's an excellent rebate on tanklesses. Yes?
If you choose to purchase it as opposed to renting it, what's the warranty?
Warranty is, so it's manufacturer dependent, but we're looking at about 10 years for parts and lifetime for most of the heat exchangers, but not all of them. It does depend on the manufacturer. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Steve, as Irina just mentioned. We are 20 years deep in the smart home industry. Started in '98, working for some big organizations in Toronto, where we were doing lighting systems, audio distribution, video distribution. We're now into shading and also smart glass is a new thing that I had seen first in '97 in a resort. And so we're doing smart glass as another option to the shading. So I was asked to present a few questions to the group as far as what is a lighting control system. So I put down some information that may make some sense. So there's a couple different types of lighting systems that we're doing currently, which is one is a centralized lighting system where the electricians would wire the lighting loads. And a lighting load, if you don't know, would be like a chandelier could be a separate load, or a bank of pot lights could be a different type of load, or we're doing a lot today of feature lighting. So we're featuring a wall that would have been set up for LED in a cladded wall featuring a TV in front of it. Can everybody hear me? Yes? Okay, good. So that is one of the lighting systems that we're doing currently today is centralized. The other one is over existing switches. So you can actually do smart switches and have it controlled as well. What we can't do is with the centralized tidy up your walls with a singular switch versus today a lot of the houses that we walk into could have like 4 to 5 gangs of lights that are banked up against each other, which is in our world, we call those wall warts. So we tried to make recommendations if the opportunity allows with a designer to be able to clean up the walls. So we're trying to work together with designers and architects and builders to be able to achieve those type of lighting applications. So here we're putting together, this is a centralized lighting system where the electrician was wiring each individual load of lighting to a bank of dimming and relay modules. So a relay module would be obviously something that runs on a motor. For example, an exhaust in your washroom requires an on and off, not a dimmable load. So where the dimming modules will allow us to be able to connect dimmable lights like your chandeliers and your pot lights and whatnot. So the next question that I was asked about was, what is the best type of speaker setup that we could do? We do a lot of, we automate and allow through a system to be able to have independently run speakers in different rooms, and then you could be able to play Celine Dion in the living room while, for example, my son would listen to Kiss in his room. So, he rocks out, and my wife would be listening to Celine, maybe. So, probably not. Anyways, we do typically, a builder will say, I want speakers everywhere, and we run them through a system called an audio matrix, where you could independently select these sources to be able to play differently in different rooms. Anyone building or renovating that was thinking about putting speakers in, I could help you out with what type of speaker would be best and what type of amplification it would be requiring and what type of system. And I can actually demonstrate that in our unit, how we could be able to play on the media room, one type of music through a surround sound, or be able to play in individual rooms different types of music around your home. Anyone? Yes?
Should it do interior and exterior for the south?
Sorry?
If you have exterior, so if you have like outdoor patio, you want music out there as well?
Yes.
Can it be done for both?
Of course. Well, we typically, is the house being built or is it renovated or? Okay, so we typically would run a couple of speaker wires to each one of the speakers that you would want. And that's typically, like I have speakers in my backyard, my clients would all have speakers. And so traditionally you'd have those speakers like on the wall. But today we're finding that people want them like around their garden and hidden in the shrubs or whatnot. So we're doing garden speakers. We're doing, we've got another brand we're doing called, they're bollards, and they get hidden in the shrubbery or the trees. And so our type of solutions that we offer are, in our opinion, not for everybody. We are kind of not an economically cheap type of solution. We have top, best-in-class type of equipment that we're selling, and it's not an out-of-the-box solution, so there's like some programming involved, there's equipment that's involved, and we usually dedicate that equipment to like an equipment closet where there'd be a rack of equipment, and I think if you come to my unit, I can show you all that stuff. So here's an interface that we're using at a customer's. We do home theater. The interface that you saw there was basically able to, from the one application, be able to choose between lighting, audio. You could choose what audio room you want to be able to play that audio in. And how I've set this up is, this is my media room TV, master bedroom TV, and the patio TV. So I can select all that from my phone or my touch panel and be able to select what I want in any room. Here's the home theater we were doing. We also do video walls, and we're in Unit 93 down the hall here that you can come and make an appointment with us. We work by appointment because typically I'm not in a suit. I'm in my work clothes and I go to the sites and I do my work. So my wife always yells at me that I've got rough hands, and that's because I'm in the field doing my trade. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. If there's any questions, I'm in Unit 93. I'm Steve Rotenberg. I've been doing this for a number of years, and if there's anything that you need to know about smart homes, I have the answers for you, most likely, and the products that you're looking for to be able to achieve whatever it is that you're looking for. We're open to your imagination. I mean, that's pretty much what separates us from them, is that we're not an out-of-the-box type of company. We supply and we service and we support our clientele, and we're all about building relationships. Sir, do you have a question?
Do you maintain and service other people's equipment? So if we have the system in place now and it's not working the way we want it, or one of the units fails, do you service?
We have been called in to take care of new customers that have old systems, and if it's possible to help somebody like that and develop a new relationship with that person or family, we're all in. The only drawback is that we weren't there from the beginning of the time, and there could be some more time needed to be able to diagnose where that wire is, because most of the technicians aren't preparing for the next guy to come in. They know how they wired it. They're not labeling the wires, where, we typically will get our Dymo labeler out and we'll label the wire. But again, it does take some time for us to be able to service somebody who we never helped in the past. But we do get called in all the time. We're repurposing old wires, or we're adding new wires to be able to accomplish whatever. And I think one of the other questions that I may want to just touch on is, how do we wire the house today? So some people are they're not sure because the builder or the designer don't really have that knowledge. So I typically would wire a TV. We'd wire everything with Cat 6 except when it comes to speakers. So Cat 6, usually we're running 3 to the TV, which you'll say, why are you running 3 to the TV? We use one of them for a video over Cat 6, another one for control, and because today every TV's got smart features and you don't want to have the buffering, it's always best to have a hard wire for the network. So that way you can have that hard wire to the network, and it's always going to be working flawlessly every time you try to watch something or listen to something. If anyone has any other questions, I would love to answer them.
Can you speak to wired speakers versus wireless speakers?
Yes, I could. We have some options, okay? So we do come into homes today that were not wired. So we use, for example, a solution by, you've heard of Sonos?
Yep.
So we would run a TV, and because the TV have inputs and outputs, usually right directly in behind of it, except if you're buying a frame TV from Samsung, they have an outboard that is one connect with a proprietary cable. So we would be running that Sonos directly from the TV, and the Sonos have wireless capability to be able to connect to a subwoofer or to a rear surround speaker. Typically, we do suggest let's hardwire if we can. If we can't, there are options for those individuals that are looking for some sound. I'll give you an example. My father, he's hard of hearing today. He's 80 years old. So you definitely need some sort of a speaker to be able to amplify what's going on. He's watching a baseball, football, or a movie. He can't hear it. So you need some speakers. So we can choose those speakers accordingly. We do recommend hard wiring. Obviously, it's the best way to go. We give you more options for you to be able to listen to your source the way that you would want to be able to listen to that source. So I will pass it on to the next.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi. Thank you guys for coming today. My name is Ran from CNC Lighting. So we've been dealing with LED since 2010, since the product first came to the market. Pretty much first of the few businesses that in Ontario that's dealing with LED. So we pretty much covers the manufacturer. We work really closely with the manufacturer. We even assemble a few products ourselves. And to here, the distribution part where we sell directly to customers, wholesale, distribution, and retail. So we know feedback-wise how to improve our product over time, and also control customer service, all that. So today on energy saving, it's pretty obvious nowadays. Everyone knows LED is much energy efficient compared to other type of lighting. So, and also not only energy-wise, it gives you more variety of styles because the type of lighting that is, and also how you can use the light and in conjunction with the control guys, where you can really upgrade your interior and lighting game. So, I'm so nervous. Sorry, I'm gonna apologize. I'm gonna read out of my notes a little bit. So by energy saving, we know that it saves energy, but how much energy? It can save up to 90% on your just lighting part, which is average house about $300 per year, just by changing your lights. $300. $300 is a little bit of money. And because it's higher efficiency, less energy that's wasted on heat loss, and because government has been pushing LED lighting, energy efficient lighting a lot, because it reduces your carbon footprint and it does the earth a big, everyone, let's change it to LED lighting. It works, saves you money and good for the environment. That's that, okay. There's a lot of people still saying, oh, I don't like, I like the traditional, the colors. I like the colors. A lot of people say, I like the other type of lighting, now LED, I don't like the colors. But the good news is the technology has been improved so much. You can even change the color within your light. If today you want, at night, you want a warmer light, and during the day, you want to work, you want a bright, cool white, and you can change that, not changing the fixture, but on the switch. There's a product right now that you can change the color of light just on the switch by flickering the switch, and you can set the temperature of your light to a different color. So style-wise, other than changing the bulbs, because there's a rise in minimalism right now. Like this type of lighting right now is trending, where you can recess it into your drywall. So it's flush and it's very, trendy right now. Everyone, like, if you're into your home renovating, you'll be like painting things on Instagram. Those are all products that's available. You can actually buy it and think about how you want to use it. It's very customizable. And let's say this is, let's say a close friend's house. But you can see there's different type of lighting you can use. How you can think about, maybe I don't want, back then you have one light in the middle, you turn it on, it's like, oh, turn it off. But now you can have task lights for your work or if you're cooking. And also you can have some ambient lighting that, general lights, and also accents if you want a little accent on, like, under the on the floor for a nightlight or anything like that. It's all doable, and we carry all the products and very vitally available here on the market. And we have a unit here at 64. And if you want some ideas, you can definitely come by and check it out. And another thing I want to talk about is, also I forgot to mention, there's like landscape lighting. Also, there's many types of landscape lighting, not only for indoor. Now LED has expanded to outdoors, commercial spaces, industrial, all different area. Any lighting far beyond, and you can use LED. They're all available right now.
Do you guys hear well? Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah? Sorry. Yeah. So light is, I think, it's the most important part in a interior design aspect. Maybe I'm biased, but I think it's the most important. So right now, in like the light, I just want to introduce you guys to a few new products that's on the market. After the linear light I was talking about, and there's also colored lights. So you can control the light, which comes in different color, not just white, also RGB, which stands for like red, green, blue. So they can have literally limitless selection of colors. And if you want to have a party, hey, you can turn on your light to have different colors. Yeah. And with the help of the control, and you can set it into different modes. And say during the day, you can tell your smart home, hey, good morning. And they can set you a mode where it's morning time, a different light you want to have during the day. And then if you want to work, it's like, hey, turn on work lights. They can set the light brighter and turn on the light you want at your work areas. And also if you want dinner time, I want dinner, turn on the dinner mode. So they can dim the light, turn the light into a certain temperature, which is nice and moody, where how you enjoy, it's like a darker mode. Yeah. And also when the party's over, you can say, hey, everyone gets out, and which turns on all the light. It'd be like it's a subtle hint of everyone needs to go now, which you can think about and having fun with a lot of lighting right now. And on the last note is, I would talk about also on the sensor. There's a different type of sensor I want to mention. There's light sensor, which you can turn on, control the light by, it's called dusk to dawn. So like at night when the light dims and you turn on your artificial lights. And also there is motion sensor. So for security purposes, you can have your light outside. If there is, say not so good people walking by, you'll turn on the security lighting and for security purposes. And there's also lighting for sensor you can put in your drawers, where you open your drawer and the light turns on, and close your drawer and light turns off. That's also a way of saving energy, and which I have a little gift for you guys when you go out. It's a little light you put battery in, and it goes in your drawer when you open it, and it turns on, close it, turns off. No wire needed, just a few batteries, last over a year, which is a great solution for if you looking into have some light, midnight snack over your drawer, there's your light. Also, last note is lighting is not always, because we have so much light nowadays, lighting is not always the brighter the better. There's a raising concern of light pollution. Like if you have a neighbor that has a bright light shines on your house, I know a lot of people has that concern. Yeah, where that's also a problem. So you should also consider, there's a few ways of dealing with that, and have that in mind that, have your light turned off, which the control also helps you a lot because you don't have to worry about turning it off. You can forget, it sets in the timer, and you can turn off your lights. And also,
My information is more than 15 years years old, so forgive me if I bring this up.
No
I
problem.
was shopping for LED lights a long, long time ago. We were told that every year they would get a little bit dimmer, so we actually ended up buying more lights or putting even more fixtures in just with that eventuality. Do we have that concern anymore? Like, should we like buy more extra lights and maybe put a dimmer in to be able to have a longer lasting installation?
So LED, they tell you when you buy it, they usually say it's 50,000 hours or however many years, depends on the product. But nowadays, the light efficiency has increased. Back then, lumen is how much light you measure the light. Back then, lights are about, like when it first started 10 years ago, it's like 80, 70 lumens per watt. Now it can go up to 150 lumens per watt. So the more you be more concerned about it being too bright, people tends to overkill on the lights. They put in too much light. So it's better you use a dimmer. I wouldn't be too concerned about like it goes too dim. LED is way more efficient and longer lasting because, compared to traditional lighting. So I wouldn't be too concerned. If you want a product that's reliable, you can come to see me.
Well,
Okay.
thank you, Pick Your Rent. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you, guys.